All right, looks like we're up and running again. Hope this is the marker I want to use. I put it down and now I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks good. All right, so this is a video on factoring. I'm just going to do 6 factoring problems. Sets of 2 that are approached differently than the others. And just some helpful hints, I hope, as to how to get a little better at this skill. Writing products is certainly one of the methods of solving equations, probably the second most used method for solving equations. And we certainly simplify an awful lot of expressions. Division gets simplified by multiplication, right? Inverse operations. So we've got to have this skill. All right, so the first rule of factoring. First rule, always look at it and go, take out what's common. All right, so what's common in this case? 3. X squared minus 9x plus what, 20? All right, anytime you have a middle term that's negative and the last term is positive, looks like it's got to be a minus situation. So we got x, there's our x squared, 4 and 5 multiply out to be 20, and minus 4 and minus 5 add up to negative 9. Okay, and that's problem number 1. Let's get an eraser here. Problem number 2. You pausing the video, I hope, and trying these. But you'll hear me say every day in class, whenever we do any writing products, first rule, take out what's common. Second rule, see if you can keep going. Third rule, see if you can keep going. Fourth rule, see if you can keep going. All right, so what's another one here? 6x squared, what did I use? 2x squared minus 2x minus 12. 2x squared minus 2x minus 12. All right, so you pause the video. First rule, take out what's common. 2, x squared minus x minus 6. 2 numbers that multiply out to be 6 that are 1 apart. So we got a 3 and a 2. Okay, we get a 6 out of that. We can combine these to get minus 1 by stroke of the pen. Okay, so that's your first rule. Take out what's common. Let's see if you can keep factoring. All right, number 2, when the coefficient isn't 1 for x squared. So let's look at 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. When the numbers are fairly small, we'll be doing these with a factor by grouping in a moment, but for right now, there's only one way to get 2x squared, and that's 2x times x, and there's nothing common. So we want to look at the factors at 15, 1, 3, 5, and 15, and the mates are 15, 5, 3, and 1. And so we're looking at 15 times 2. I'm nowhere near minus 7 if I add 1 to that. 5 times 2 is 10 and 3. Oh, bingo. Okay, so we got a 5 and a 3. So that's 10. We need it to be negative. So minus, plus. So if the numbers are small, we'll look at another technique for more difficult situations here for coefficients in a moment. But right now, we'll just practice that again. You try it with the next problem, which is, I wrote something someplace, and I remember where. 4x squared minus x minus 14. 4x squared minus x minus 14. Okay, I don't remember if I did that one. I think I did that one by the grouping process. So I'm still looking for the other one that I did over there. Oh, I see it. 6x squared plus 7x minus 5. 6x squared plus 7x minus 5. All right, this is similar to the last problem. You have a go at it. And if you do, I hope you see that there's only one way to get 5. That's 5 and a 1. So really, we have choices of, in this case, that's going to be let's switch this to make it similar to the last problem. Let's make the 1 here, put the 5 here. Okay, and whatever we put here is going to be 5 times bigger than you may have thought it would be. So let's put the factors in. We got 1 and 6. We got 2 and 3. We got 3 and 2. And we got 6 and 1. We have 4 situations. So if we put a 5 and a 1 together, you're not gonna get a 7. If we put a 10 and a 3, bingo. 10 and 3. We just hit the jackpot. So we got 2x squared and 3x, and we want it to be positive 7, so we need that to be the bigger one. There's the smaller one, and I think the task is complete. Okay, now I'm writing those things down, but with more practice, you can kind of Rolodex them. All right. Let's see, now we got some situations that are a little more challenging. 4x squared minus x minus 14. 4x squared minus x minus 14. All right, so since we've got situations, factors, both that are going to be different here, we might do the factor by grouping method, which is to multiply 4 times negative 14, which is negative 56. So we want two numbers that multiply out to negative 56. And we also want those two numbers add up to negative 1. I think we're looking at 8 and 7. Negative 8 and positive 7 multiply out. So over here, we can write 4x squared minus 8x plus 7x minus 14. We'll break it up into two parts here. The second half we'll factor first. It's easier to factor that. So we'll factor that with a 7 times x minus 2. If these are factorable, then we're going to get an x minus 2 here. And we can see that it's 4x times x minus 2. And so that gets us 4x squared minus 8x plus 7x minus 8x plus 7x. Oh yeah, here's the original. I was looking at this now. Minus 14. All right, so hopefully you can see a common factor here now. It's still a sum. So writing this as a product goes back to lesson number 1 here. Take out what's common. So I'll write 4x plus 7. What's common to 4x plus 7? X minus 2. All right, had a little moment there, or it's 5:15 in the morning here, so heading off to the airport. But I felt like doing something while I was waiting for other folks to show up. So that's what I'm doing. 6x squared minus 7x minus 10. 6x squared minus 7x minus 10. You pause the video, have a go at it. I'll just keep going. So we're looking at 6 times negative 10 is negative 60. So we want something that multiplies out to negative 60 and also adds up to negative 7. Oh, that's 10 and 6, huh? So let's put the, doesn't matter which one I use, but I'll put this over here to make sure that we have, it's 5 and 12, excuse me, 5 and 12, 10 and 6 doesn't add up to this. 5 and 12, so we want 5, we want 12, and we want this one to be the negative. All right, so 5 times negative 12, negative 60, 5 plus negative 12, negative 7. All right, so let's put the 12 with the 6 and the 5 with the 7 would be a little easier factor. So 6x squared minus 12x plus 5 times 5x, that gets me my 7x minus 10. There we go. I don't generally use this method. I usually just try to write it quickly based on what I see. But what's common here? 6x times x minus 2. X minus 2 is probably going to show up over here. It usually always does. Okay, so we got 6x plus 5 times x minus 2. All right, so a little choppy here waking up, but those are 3 situations that are worth thinking about, and we'll be encountering them on a daily basis. So we'll be talking about it on a regular basis. So it doesn't have to be understood immediately, but let's get the seeds planted, and then let's just water it a little every day with doing them every day, and hopefully watch those neurons connect between the ears. All right. Off I go into the wild blue yonder.